Hello, I'm Bincy,
Hello, I'm Mirala.
and this is the Thebrokernews Podcast.
This is the Broker News Podcast. We believe there is never too late to start a business. We did it. We turned entrepreneurs later in life. So why not you? What are you afraid of? Dare to live with purpose, no matter the age.
So, in today's podcast, we are very happy to welcome a woman with tons of energy. Silvia Signoretti comes from Italy and is a global insurance executive and president of Swiss InsureTech Hub. As a passionate community builder, she knows all the important people around the world and they know her. Before we start, we would like you, Silvia, to introduce yourself to our audience. How are you? What is your background? And what is your connection to the insurance industry?
Wow, thank you very much, Vichy, for such an introduction. I am not sure it is true. I know people around the world, because I tend to be a social person and I try to use those connections and giving this connection to who needs it for their business activities. So yes, I'm Italian. I moved to Switzerland exactly 25 years ago. So I have maintained very strong Italian roots in my mindset, but I have naturalized into a Swiss person. Attitude didn't change. I remained, I still think in Italian. I bring my southern energy in everything I do and in the way I connect with people.
This is great. And actually saying that Silvia has a lot of energy is an understatement. It's enough to go to one of the Swiss InsureTech Hub events and to see Silvia blooming on the stage. I really admire your energy, Silvia. I think you also mentioned in our previous discussions that you're a woman on a mission, which we can clearly say. You love bringing people together around the causes you believe in. Can you give our listeners a bit more of a flavor of that and some examples? When did you bring people together other than the Swiss InsureTech Hub?
Of course. I think everything I've done in my life probably is thanks to my 16 years of scouting. So I think scouting is one of these hobbies for young people that is about being with people, thinking about the others, and making sure everybody feels part of the group. And maybe this mentality is what I have nurtured in my mindset, and this is what I do in every activity I try to undertake. I want to really create this cohesion within groups, within individuals, at the business level, making sure that there is harmony in the way we can work or exchange together. And so I did a lot of fun activities around people. Of course, on the side of studies, as I studied solid state physics, and people tend to be very, squared, in certain sense. I complemented with activities that again, helped me to stay connected with different realities. It is probably thanks to those connections I moved into consulting. And then I started my career at Zurich Insurance. And I was always feeling very privileged that working for a large corporation in contact with thousands of colleagues in every type of undertaking was helping me to get to know personal stories, very interesting backgrounds, and also expertise that I could really bring in and take always something with me. And then use this new element of Silvia into the next undertaking. So I think what became the Swiss InsureTech Hub is really this melting pot of ideas, of enthusiasm, of positive stories you hear in the industry, and you try to bring it back to the same community.
Wonderful. And you've been in the insurance industry for quite a lot of time now. Our industry is changing, plus new technologies and AI within the last few years means it is a very dynamic field. How do you keep yourself as a top leader in insurance on top of the trends?
Well, I think when you are inside of a group working on a specific project, you always have to do some kind of research to really understand how in a particular space, in a particular change, transformation effort, and in what is happening in the space. So I really have to come from your curiosity. Again, tapping from the expertise of your colleagues and peers and team members to really grasp what is relevant of the things you need to know to put them at service for the project. Now, in light of the Swiss InsureTech Hub, I use this as a platform to keep up to date. So you speak with the insurance incumbent, and as you come from as a practitioner within one of these, and then you hear other similar stories in different areas of their organization. So you really get a feeling on what are the common challenges, what are the obstacles to overcome, and you hear on the other side of the fence what technology companies, from the established ones to the insurtechs, emerging ones, are bringing to the table. So, and every time before I go to a meeting or after, those type of session, I try to take the time to round up, the understanding of certain topics. So I really use the Swiss InsureTech Hub, and I'm giving to our community to use this as a platform for continuous learning.
And actually, that's the best place to learn about new trends and technology, because there are so many insurtechs part of Swiss InsureTech Hub, and they have fascinating solutions. Now I'm going to ask you something slightly different. You've been leading teams for a very long time. So tell us, Silvia, what kind of leader are you? What should I expect if one day I want to work for you?
Well, it's true that I had teams of different sizes, but I also, when as a team leader, I was always saying to my colleagues, asking about, my career progression. I would like to be a team leader myself. And I say, the problem is that in the pyramid, hierarchy of an organization, there are less and less leading roles, and people have to practice their leadership skills with indirect team members. I think what I always say to people have to give a nudge of inspiration to the people they work with. So one of my managers once told me, you don't lead people because you are the leader, but because you are the role model. So you need to find a way to really bring together those, call it human components, to which people really can anchor themselves. It's true that in my career, I've been managing teams, and those teams were of different sizes. And when you have your objective setting or career progression discussion with team members, there's always the question that comes, say, how can you help me to become a team leader? And my answer to them was always like, don't expect to have direct resources in the way you progress in your career, because in many situations, managing indirect resources is also very important, and you need to demonstrate how you do it. So a leader, most cases, is not a leader because as, let's say, the particular power that is attributed in the hierarchy of an organization, but he is the one that shows those type of skills against which people really can anchor to it. That you have to be inspirational, you have to be providing motivation. You need to create an environment of learning and of open, safe exchange. So I was always sure that my team would be recognized for their expertise. I would make sure they would be the one on the spotlight when they could showcase their expertise, particularly when their expertise was stronger than mine. So I think this is, first of all, as a leader, you need to realize, who is there to support you to excel as a team rather than as an individual.
So it means also a safe dose of humbleness.
Yes, I think this is humbleness or being an authentic person, recognizing the limits and accepting also bottom-up advice on how to improve as a person or as a team itself.
Now another topic which is very close to my heart, because I've seen you last year speaking in a panel about women in leadership positions, mostly in insurance, I guess, insurance and technology. And you said something which I still remember today. Women need to ask what they want. That was a very powerful statement. If I still remember it today, what do you think we should do as women to lift each other up? Because sometimes I have the impression we are not as good as men in supporting each other.
Yeah, I mean, I am a great believer that the women complicity is what makes us stronger. And for this motto in my mind, I am very open and I share, what is my personal context, where am I, with my mind, what I think, where I see my limits and where I would like to go. And I try to use this complicity to find the allies to support me, to help me to go to the next, let's say, place. And I believe when people realize that, again, with your element of authenticity, they open up themselves and you really can create allies, come your best peer or your sponsor or, the one person providing you this element of support you need to really make a difference in your career change.
Now let's speak a bit about the Swiss InsureTech Hub. I'm a member of Swiss InsureTech Hub for a couple of years. What is the problem you solve and what is your motivation behind building it?
Yes, I think, do we solve a problem? But I mean, multiple problems, let's say. What we have created is a platform. So first of all, based on people and again, bringing expertise together to discuss those topics of change and transformation that are needed and are at the core of everybody's, let's say, discussion in their job or again in their learning curve. So we try to bring this diverse expertise together to really understand how you can address certain conversation from different angles. We offer, therefore, the platform for individuals to shape even their personal brand, to be recognized for what they know and what they can give to this community. We help, of course, our, let's say, contributing partners or sponsors to also be seen as thought leaders in the industry. And we also would like to give the opportunity, most importantly, to Insurtech to showcase their solutions, really showing, as I always say, how technology and embracing technology can help rethink classic insurance processes and making them better, more efficient, and more effective. So at the end of the day, we always find various creative ways to deliver on this mission. We always welcome the bottom-up input on how to get those new ways of delivering. So now we have recruited some volunteers to help us write some papers. We have recruited volunteers to help onboarding startup. We recruited volunteers to help run events. Again, because everybody can bring something. So I believe that in our army of volunteers, we all bring very complementary expertise, and this is what makes us stronger.
Swiss InsureTech Hub is a catalyst for innovation in the Swiss market and not only in the Swiss market, because many times in your events, I've seen people from Germany, the UK, and other European countries.
Yes. So there are multiple factors related to that. One thing is that insurtechs are interested into expanding into the Swiss market. So this is the must-have. But at the same time, as we have a network that goes beyond the Swiss border, we would like to also leverage this in favor of creating additional connections. So what we offer is really an opportunity to bring again those multiple forces, great brains together in really irrespectful of where we are. So our startup, yes, have an international type of connotation. They come from different regions. Our supporter also from company perspective are sitting in different countries, and is always true that those units of the same group sometimes do behave differently, either because of the dynamic of the market, either the focus on certain market segments. So you can really find multiple opportunities to showcase a certain solution to different people within the same group. But another important thing is also the way we operate is also to bring something extra to a company. We really want to use this as an opportunity to continue foster a dialogue about change, about transformation, innovation. We want the leadership of this company to involve their talent so that we see different type of characters represented in the room.
I would like to ask you, as someone who has been with insurtechs for a long time, why is it that so many insurtechs do not succeed? And what is it what they should do to succeed?
I mean, I don't have the crystal ball, but what has happened over the time, and this is a great analysis that one of our let's say partners said, is that the insurtech has changed as profile, let's say, as a solution provider. So they went from full stack insurance player to very specific, call it tech solution in a very specific point of the value chain, of the insurance value chain. So what happened is that as they're very specialized, and they bring maybe an opportunity to provide a solution already well designed, or even in certain not fully mature stage, an opportunity to shape it even further in collaboration with a customer, so with an incumbent. In certain situations, depending on the size of the incumbent, they may have their internal resources to get in a way or the other to that solution. Maybe it's a different timeline, but if let's say a pre-investment is already initiated and they already know what they're expecting to shape, they might have the capability themselves. So it really depends from multiple factors. I mean, at what moment of a company investment the startups comes in, what is the unique type of solution they provide? Are they really complementing the skills of an insurance company, or then is it really also, from within the team equipped with the right skills, the knowledge of the industry, that they can really find a way to interact together. Of course, we keep on the side all additional, call it governance issues, that a larger corporate may sometimes add as a complexity to go from a nimble, fast, let's say, evolving company into less dynamic in terms of changing processes, regulated, super regulated, and very, let's say, protected environment.
That was a super interesting question, because I think we're going to have an article very soon on the Broker News speaking about the reasons we see the insurtechs are failing. Silvia, a bit of a different question now. We've spoken a couple of times about how incumbents could help the Swiss InsureTech Hub to accomplish its mission. What would you ask the incumbents to do today to help the activity of the Swiss InsureTech Hub? Because you organize events, you do so many things, you are publishing, you're writing papers, and I think they have a role to play in that, and they could help a bit more.
Yes. I think what we have observed to date is a great openness to dialogue. So we are talking to an insurance company, a tech companies, or even an investor, we're seeing them very open to spend time with the delegation of insurtechs. And we use this as an opportunity to create an exchange. So market practitioners, so the incumbent or the investor, can give feedback to the insurtechs. So it doesn't have to be an exchange with an immediate, let's say, commercial interest or a commercial outcome. We always position our events, either our networking breakfast or evening events, as an opportunity to really exchange. People have to hear from the practitioner, from both sides, what is really happening, what are the struggles, and what is there available for them to tap into to solve an issue in the value chain.
What are the next steps for the Swiss InsureTech Hub? Where do you want to take the organization in the future?
Big dreams. I mean, first of all, is to continue to sustain it. At the moment, we are still running it in a professional volunteering mode. Of course, we have, let's say, fluctuation in the way we can deliver our event from our, let's say, corporate engagement or private engagement. The Swiss InsureTech Hub is still, let's say, a project that comes on top for everyone. So for us, is really to reach let's say, the level of stability for us means having enough resources to ensure that we can, from an operational perspective, maintain the stability. That's our dream. But this can happen only if the industry will continue to support us.
So, Silvia, tell us, how many members are there in the Swiss InsureTech Hub, and what does one have to do to become a member?
Very good. So let's start from the second part of the question. Becoming a member is very simple. We do different approaches depending on if you are an individual, a startup, or a corporate partner. And we have tried to automate as much as possible the process. People can do it online. But what we like is the personal interaction because it's really understanding, who is joining. So how to find a place for them to really bring these, to keep their interest alive. And so then it's up to the individuals to say, I want to stay, let's say, as a passive member and consume the content that is developed, or I want to be an active one and really actively contribute in shaping the agenda. So this is what we do with everyone, and in the way they join, again, reflects the type of commitment they want to contribute with. So with this, we have probably more than 500 members in the association. Well, we started since the very beginning to collaborate with other associations. We have run a joint event virtually, but also in person. We did, for example, a couple of years ago, the first digital summit. It was a virtual event together with the Italian InsurTech Association, Insurtech Israel. All of us brought a keynote speaker, 3 Insurtechs from our ecosystem. So it was really a beautiful, let's say, melting pot of perspective and trends in our own countries. We then further developed these type of exchanges in different ways through invitation to conferences or inviting them into our events as a speaker. Or let's start from the second part of the question. Becoming a member is very simple. We do different approaches depending on if you are an individual, a startup, or a corporate partner. And we have tried to automate as much as possible the process. People can do it online. But what we like is the personal interaction because it's really understanding, who is joining. So how to find a place for them to really bring these, to keep their interest alive. And so then it's up to the individuals to say, I want to stay, let's say, as a passive member and consume the content that is developed, or I want to be an active one and really actively contribute in shaping the agenda. So this is what we do with everyone, and in the way they join, again, reflects the type of commitment they want to contribute with. So with this, we have probably more than 500 members in the association, and we have, again, the individual members. Startup members also come with a number of individual memberships themselves, as we allow the team to participate to the activities, and of course also corporate members. They also add, let's say, a contingent number of members they have. So all together we are above the 500. I don't remember the last count, or 600. And we are very happy to see this community growing. We also make sure that in the way we deliver our events, as this is a global community, we try to keep them involved, both in-person meetings and also the virtual ones. So we see that after every general assembly that we run every 6 weeks virtually, and we extend the invitation, people start joining the newsletter. Then they become overtime members. So even the newsletter reaches more than 1,200 people at the moment, which I think is a great number. As we're not, of course, membership helps us to cover our operational costs, but we are not driven by money. So we are driven by the number of followers. And this is what always gives us, the good positive feedback from the public.
Great to hear. And in terms of collaboration with other InsurTech hubs or other associations from Europe or the US, maybe, what plans do you have, Silvia?
Well, we started since the very beginning to collaborate with other associations. We have run a joint event virtually, but also in person. We did, for example, a couple of years ago, the first digital summit. It was a virtual event together with the Italian InsurTech Association, Insurtech Israel. All of us brought a keynote speaker, 3 Insurtechs from our ecosystem. So it was really a beautiful, melting pot of perspective and trends in our own countries. We then further develop these type of exchanges in different ways through invitation to conferences or inviting them into our events. We are currently discussing with two international associations the possibility to build a global accelerator program or maybe a bootcamp. This is an opportunity to really show that this type of collaboration has no border, and we hope to be able to implement it, because it's always a matter of capacity and support from the market to contribute with expertise in mentoring the startup that will participate.
I think this leads us to the end of this podcast. We want to really thank you, Silvia. It has been great to have you as host. Binti?
Yes, thank you very much, also from my side, and all the best to you.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for listening. We will come back with more episodes of the Broker News Podcast.